I think we're live already, OSG, if I'm not mistaken. I think we might have pushed
Word.
the wrong button.
Just in case y'all ain't know,
Coming
we
along.
gon' put it in they face. Let them know, cause we don't play around. Let them know, cause we don't play around. Cause we don't play around. Cause we don't play around. Haters hate but lose when we in the race. Hey, we up in the place and we gon' put it in they face. Let them know.
What's going on, OSG? Welcome, guys, to another great episode of Noodle Time, episode 135. Man, um, happy Thursday, guys. For those who are religious, obviously we know that Easter's this weekend. We got Good Friday tomorrow, Easter on Sunday, Easter Monday on Monday. So shout out to everybody who celebrates and partakes, Passover and all that good stuff, guys. Shout out to all you guys celebrating the resurrection and all that good stuff. OSG, what's going on, my guy?
What's up, brother, man? Nothing much. Just chilling.
I think you're on.
Man, it's been relaxing the past few weeks. You think I'm muted?
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. You're good.
Oh. Yeah, so, man, I'm just like, it's been chill the past couple weekends. And then, like, now I've got these four next week coming up are just trips straight to Houston with home games between Dynamo and Dash, and including Dose as well in one of those trips, man. So I've been relaxed, but I'm ready to get pumped up and get it going and getting back to Houston a few times and hopefully getting some dubs out of them, man. But what's up with you, man? How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. Obviously, we love to have you in town as many times as we can. OSG. By the way, what's the update on the mileage?
Oh
You
man,
got that
let's
on you?
see. What is it?
If not,
No,
if
not
not,
the.
don't worry.
It is over 2,000 already with the 5 trips. So this will
Okay,
be trip
okay.
number 6 this weekend.
Nice. Well, yeah. Speaking about wins, man. I mean, it's crazy how things can turn out for a club like the Dynamo and things of that nature. I think 2 weeks prior, if I would have told you OSG, we have the defending U.S. Open Cups champions coming to home. We haven't won at home. And after that, we played the defending MLS Cup champions at their house. And if I told you, hey, OSG, we're gonna come out of it with 4 points, you would have been shit. That's awesome. That's great. You know, hey,
Yeah,
4 points,
exactly.
I'll take that, especially with the start that we've had, all that stuff, whatever this and that. But 4 points doesn't feel right when especially when, obviously we finally got our first win against LAFC at home a couple of weeks back. And then this prior Saturday, we went up against LA Galaxy and Carson, and we had every opportunity to pull out the win and get the full 3 points on the road. You know, we managed the tie, which I've in my short stint with you guys in Noodle Time, I've always said roll points are golden points. So
Hmm.
obviously to come out of Carson with a point, it's obviously good, especially good for the Dynamo as far as their road record grabbing road points up to this point. It's been it's been decent, at least, given the fact that we haven't had our full squad, nowhere near our full squad this whole season. But if I told you this, OSG, hey, LA Galaxy are not gonna have their MVP player or or the face of the franchise, Ricky Puig, playing for them. They're gonna come off a disappointing defeat in Champions Cup against Tigres. They're gonna be down to 10 men, and somebody's gonna get a red card. And on top of that, you're gonna have a 1-0 lead going into halftime. That one point doesn't sound too good anymore, and you're thinking like, man, yo, we could have got 6 points. We could have got the 3 points on the road, and had 6 points against the LA teams. It's just crazy how scenarios change, and once you see everything laid out the way it's been laid out, how perspective and how appreciation of
Be it
things change. Like I said,
a
I
winless
mentioned to
LA
you,
team too.
I mentioned to you if I gave you 4 points. Yeah, if I mentioned to you, like if I gave you 4 points, you would have been like, hell yeah, I'll take that without a doubt. But when you're that close to 6 points and you let it go, and obviously obviously battling what we're battling, the fact that we've had a slow start, we're not scoring goals. We're not there creatively as a team yet. That we're not there offensively as a team yet. Um, to let go of a win, it's just damning, man. What's your opinion on the game
It,
in
it
Carson?
it's man, it was just so like it was just unbearable to watch sometimes. At some points, just our attack, just how you work your way down there, and especially against 10 men, where you have more trouble than when they had 11. You looked better against their first half 11-man squad than their second half 10-man squad, which is crazy. I know they're pushing. LA's got nothing to lose now. They're winless team in the entire season, and they're still a good team, and they just need to get something kickstarted, and make this might be it. They might look back and say, that red card comeback tie at home against Dynamo kickstarted our comeback. If they win this weekend somehow, like, and just look good, like, going to be whatever. But this was just disappointed to the way the game played out, the way it went, the way we can't just even create against 10 men, can't create an opportunity to friggin' score. And then the way, we score is accidental score. So is what I'm going to call it. But and even with the numbers always in our favor in the stats, you possess, but you don't do nothing with it. And I think it's starting to defeat us because teams are already defending against us in the box, and by the time we decide to go down to the final third, it's too late. And you're trying to move. Ponce's trying to move, but he's not that movable, not that agile, not that agile. So he's there, but you got to find him. And that's the hard part to do right now with this team. So the result sucks, absolutely. Stats look okay, but knowing Ben, he'll be like, yeah, well, we got the win, we got the point, against LA team, blah 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 blah. Man, it just sucks because you had a good game against LAFC. You were doing well in the first half. You scored early. You were playing well. You get the red card advantage, and then you just blow it in the second half. Incredible. It's just, and then Ben, only 2 subs. Not using the other 3 subs. You can do anything, man. You could do anything. Take control back of that game. Stairs would have been a nice sub in. Dwayne is against his, wrong LA team, but something different could have been done instead of just 2 people coming in and subbed in. So who knows? Whatever. Disappointing as always. Well, lately.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy to say that, hey, we're disappointed with a point on the road, and all that stuff. But like I said, it's just the foreshadowing of things, and then once everything is laid out and then you can see how everything happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the disappointment kicks in, right? And you start to realize, like, even though we should be happy with the 4 points from out of the 2 LA teams, especially knowing how strong of an opponents those 2 teams are, and obviously with them competing in Champions Cup and all that good stuff, we kind of maybe caught a break and catching them, during a time period where their focus isn't maybe on the league right now, but in international competition, right? And the fact that we were able to get 4 out of 6. It's still obviously a good achievement, especially knowing where the Dynamo have been at the moment. But
Yeah,
I
of
mean, it's
course.
just those 2 extra points. Just I mean, the 2 extra points don't get you any movement as far as the standings. But I mean, but you also have to keep in mind, you know, look. Obviously, we know we have a handful of new acquisitions coming into the team pretty soon and things of that nature, and we'll talk about that later. But I mean, but we don't know how well they're going to mesh and how well they're going to click, and if the chemistry will be there, and if we'll have enough offense to make up for the lost points that we had in the beginning of the season. Because even though right now from the last MLS playoff spot is, I think San Jose has 10 points and we're at 6. A 4 point difference is a lot different than a 2 point difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a 2 point difference is one game. 4 points is two games essentially. So I mean, it's very minimal right now because, well, not minimal, but I mean it's a small gap because obviously the season just started. But but once that season keeps rolling along, keeps rolling along, and we keep having those wins turn into ties or those ties turn into losses, and we keep losing points, and these other teams keep winning and winning and winning, or tying and tying and tying, or whatever they're doing, just gaining points. That margin of error becomes minimal, and we have to, and we'll be put in a position where we have to accumulate as many points as possible in a short period of time, which is not really the Dynamo way, to be honest. I mean, because we've never been a team built to come to make a comeback in the games. We're usually even during the Hector Herrera era. Most of the times it'd be us going up a goal or two and then maintaining that lead. I can't really remember ever having a major comeback, being down 2 or 3 goals and then making a major comeback. So and obviously this team being a lower, lesser self of what it was the last couple of years, I doubt that we'll be able to do that at this time. So I mean, it does hurt.
Well,
I
look,
mean, I'm glad that the boys points
yeah.
out.
So before the
Right.
season started, we started seeing all these injuries, right? And we're like, then we saw the schedule. We're like, dang, these first 10, 12 games is going to be friggin' impossible to get through. We got to get some points. We got to get some points. So your 4 points are friggin' golden that we just got. Friggin' golden, keeps us from the bottom, but only 3 points from the bottom still. And then, like you said, 4 points from the number 9 spot. Last 4 games we have in that 12-game span that we said we needed to make through, because we were planning for reinforcements to start rolling in about this time. Granted, there's been some players that have been added to that that ambulance that's going to be rolling back into and dropping these players back off in healthy mode. But we got Colorado at home, Austin at home, which would just be blown up. Back to LAFC, and then we got Seattle at home first. That's the first 12 games. So next 4 games, man, can we get some points to increase that possibility that you're talking about, to get ourselves out of the hole as these new players do come in, and pretty fast here, sounding like, to make their additions. And it's crazy how many players are coming in and how many players we might see starting in the lineup that's different from today than it will be tomorrow. But we got to make it through this schedule. And I think, you're making a point of just getting those golden points. We only got 1 road game out of these next 4. So we need three home games where we're not doing too well. We got to get some points at home. And then these reinforcements come in, and hopefully things can go on the upper, and just the stock will go up for us. But a lot to work with and a lot to learn still. We don't know what we're getting.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously one of the bright sides of the LA Galaxy game is the fact that Ponce has scored his second goal of the season. And obviously, I'm making a point of emphasis on to focus a lot on Ezekiel Ponce, even though, like, a lot of people, you start hearing rumblings. Oh man, maybe he's not the 9 that we thought he was, or he's no different than Sebastian Ferreira, or whatever comments you see negatively upon him. Like I said, I wholeheartly believe that Ponce can be a 20 goal scorer for us in an MLS season, given if he has the distribution and the people following him, and the people giving him the opportunity to score. I mean, you see the clip. I mean, look, yeah, but it might have been a little bit of a mistake on the LA defense, but he's ready. He's looking. He's always aware. He's always aware of his surroundings and where that ball is, and if he's close to the ball, and to be in that position, especially how close that is to not being outside. That's one thing about him that makes him really good. You don't catch him offside too many times. I mean, throughout the years. I
Right.
mean, obviously Aliu, Fafa back in the days, Lassiter, or even Elise and Kyoto. They had offside issues as well. Ponce is a player who you can count on to stay on side, and to create a scoring situation for himself, given if he has help around him, which he hasn't had much of. So I'm always gonna emphasize, and I'm always gonna focus on the fact that that Ponce is out there hustling, doing his thing, and obviously I want to see him score as many goals as possible. Like, I'm sure the whole Dynamo fan base wants him to as well. And we have some good news coming up for him. And we'll talk about that later on, as far as reinforcements and a new player coming in for availability, hopefully for this upcoming game against Colorado. But mentioning Colorado, guys. OSG. That's our next game. Next game this Saturday against Colorado Rapids, who currently are 4 wins, 4 losses, and 2 draws. They're right in the midst of things as far as playoff positioning, and they're looking pretty. They're looking pretty good. I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that they're not. I mean, they start off the season really well. Rafael Navarro is their leading goal scorer of 4, and Milakovic is up there as well with 2 or 3 goals, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, they got a couple of players out there scoring goals for them, and all that good stuff. So I mean, obviously, when you compare a team like Colorado right now at the moment compared to what we have as far as goal scoring abilities, I mean, you might as well think Colorado's Miami as well. I mean, because obviously our goal scoring output isn't nowhere near where we want it to be. Uh, OSG, your thoughts on Colorado and the Rapids and coming back home, just coming back home, and hopefully building on the LAFC win and maybe going back to back wins, maybe possibly.
Possibly. It'd be nice. So, man, but Colorado's still a dangerous team. They're coming off a big win at home against San Diego FC, who San Diego's been getting a lot of hype and looking really good. After that, they only have one road loss against Vancouver this year. Otherwise, they beat Austin, they beat San Jose at home.
And that's
I
the
mean, on
best
the
team in the
road,
East.
and then someone like, and then. So they're doing pretty well. They tied St. Louis on the road, so they're a tough team at home. They Dallas 3-3, so they're able to score goals. They've also gotten beat by Portland 3-0. So what Colorado team are you going to get? It's going to be a dangerous team. I think you're going to get. We're used to it. At least we don't have to deal with the little. Forget his name. Little fast forward. It's always been on Colorado recently, but whatever. But I'm kind of at home after playing the way we played against the 2 LA teams. If you're just mentally prepared, yes, you're going to win this game. You're going to come through and you're going to get 3 points. You're even favored to win this game. So people believe in us. Vegas believes in us. The odds believe in us. So can something go right for a change? And let's start a 2-game home winning streak, starting with Colorado. But yeah, I'm optimistic. I'm favorable. Colorado's 11 goals for, 11 goals against, so they give up as many goals as they do score. So we can control the game here at home. Colorado doesn't push the tempo, so we got a good one.
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I think it's a perfect opportunity. I think Colorado, obviously, like I said, they're in the midst of playoff positioning in the Western Conference. They're all bunched up with everybody right there with right about 14, 15, 16 points in that space or whatever. So they're obviously looking to take advantage of the fact that they're coming into Houston playing a Dynamo team that, yeah, obviously, like I said, the last couple of games, you're collecting points. It looks like the defense is getting a lot better, getting more in sync like they were last year, not allowing mistakes. And obviously, Fermi is
Mm-hmm.
doing his best to replace Mikael on such a short notice. And obviously, the return of Eric and then Escobar and then Dorsey. Obviously, it's all starting to click again, and I think the defense is showing up and getting a lot better and improving, which will definitely help us. But I mean, obviously, look, we can't win games if we don't score. I don't think the defense has ever been the issue. I mean, as far as aside from like the Miami game and obviously the Portland game, that was just a complete disaster. But I mean, but other than those two, I mean, the team has been there defensively, and has shown that they're able to um, compete against those offensive powerhouses, that come in for the other team, and things like that. I mean, look, LAFC, they might be a little bit down right now, but I mean, but look, they still have Bongan, they still have Giroud, Under, who just came in from Fenerbahce. They have a lot of offensive powerhouse,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of offensive power. Sorry, LA Galaxy. You had Peck, you had Pencil, you have Ramirez, who was on a goal scoring tear ever since being acquired from Columbus, and we were able to have those guys just score one goal between them. So the defense is showing up. I think the defensive side of the ball we're okay and we're good at the moment. But again, I'll go back to what we started off with in the show. The offense, man. What's going on? What's I mean, look, um, Jack McGlynn. I can't have him show up one game and then miss out the next game and just be a complete nothing. Like he needs to be more consistent. Bossy. I mean, Bossy. I think everybody knows that Bossy has been challenged to be more of a goal scoring threat than just be here passing the ball here. Doing his little trick passes or whatever. He's been challenged by Olsen to, hey, we need you to score more. We need you to go up there and create scoring opportunities, not just for Ponce, but for yourself as well. Little Sebas, I mean, the same thing with him. I mean, we haven't seen too much on the left side. I think, obviously, benching Aliu was the right thing to do. Kovalovich hasn't really taken the bull by the horns and taken advantage of the opportunity,
Nope.
to showcase that he should stay in the starting left winger. So I mean, it's just disappointing because I feel that regardless of the fact, these guys have been together, even though obviously, they're missing, 2/3 of what I think was a top three midfield last season. But those three guys up front have played together. They spent time together. They've worked on chemistry for the last year, and yet they have no creativity. They have no chemistry. They have no sync. You know, and
Who
it's
who of them
disappointing.
are
It's disappointing.
playmakers? Who of them
We've
have ever been playmakers or goal scorers in their career? That's something that we always come back to when we're trying to find what wars. Why can't we just score?
mhm.
We don't have that goal scorer, that playmaker. Are any of those playmakers?
No, I mean, look. I mean, obviously, I know a lot of people give credit to Basi, scoring as many goals as he's had. Obviously, a lot of them came from penalties. If he's had
Hmm.
quite a nice amount of assists throughout his Dynamo career. But I mean, do I call him a playmaker? Nah, I don't. I mean, I'm not really, as a playmaker. I mean, I think he's a player that can help. When you have a legit playmaker on there to help, make that extra pass or to be the dummy for Ponce or whatever. But do I think he's a playmaker? No. Sebas, do I think he's a playmaker? Not necessarily either. I think he's the person that needs to have the ball or be given the ball and be put in a position where he's able to score. I think he's a good scorer, but I don't think he can create for himself or create for others. And that's the problem. That's the problem right there. But I mean, but who do we have? We don't have anybody, to replace them, and that's the unfortunate thing.
Mm,
But I
yeah.
mean, we got some news, some rumors that one of the acquisitions that we've been waiting for so long that eventually are about to come in, supposedly is going to come in, and OSG, maybe you can give us a little bit about it, and tell the people who might be available for the first time ever as a Dynamo player this Saturday at home against the Colorado Rapids.
Oh man, such a segue. If I just would have had the song queued up and ready to play, but Linger looks like he's been practicing the entire week and it is available and should be available and ready to go. He's been practicing for quite a while, so don't be surprised if you see him get an actual start. I imagine his minutes would be limited based on his play, and that would probably be the plan as well. But he has been there, he's been practicing, so expect to see him on in the lineup, not in the lineup, but on the bench. Expect to see him get playing time finally. Expect to see him this weekend. He's. It looks like he is ready. Pictures have been allowed of him to be exposed. And I'm excited for it. Finally, piece
The- you
piece
know,
number one.
yeah. I mean, I don't know who wouldn't be. I mean, obviously, look, we've had a good amount of signing. That's been kind of. I mean, the signings have been a little underwhelming, but but we've had some signings. I mean, Linger, Ortiz, Holmes, another one who was just mentioned not to a couple of days ago, who we'll talk about here in a sec. So we've had some, but but Linger is finally going to be on the pitch, going to be available for selection. He'll be on the match day 18th. Now, like I said, I'm not sure if Ben is ready to just throw him to the fire and throw him to the den of lions and just get him starting right off the bat, or if he's willing to use him as a second half substitute, against tired legs. I'm not sure what Ben's idea is on that, but I'm honestly excited because, like I said, look, he obviously, I don't think he's the DP10 that we thought we were going to get. Obviously he's a DP because of the transfer fee. We talked about this prior show. So, look up the previous shows, guys, if you haven't already, and check those shows out. But like, this is the guy Pat and Asher landed on, right? To help create for Ponce and to help balance out the offense. So if this guy comes in and balls out, great. Round of applause to Pat, Asher, everybody in the front office staff, whatever. Everybody will get off your backs. If this guy is contributing, assisting, scoring goals, making it happen, if he's the turnaround that we needed, and the Dynamo are becoming a goal scoring machine, awesome. You know, Obviously, it's something where we'll have to wait and see, and hopefully, we don't have to wait that long to see. And like I said, hopefully he gets started right off the bat on fire. But it's
Two games at home, Mark, to get
man, it's just
comfortable, to
the
get
time
comfortable
to
as well.
get. Yeah, yeah, and just the acclimation period. Sometimes we see players come into MLS and boom, they skyrocket, scoring goals like nothing. And some people come in and shit, man. Sometimes it takes them half a season. Sometimes it takes them full season, right, to get acclimated because of whatever situation they're going in, homesickness, who knows, whatever the reason may be, right? I'm just hoping for the latter, and I'm hoping that he comes in and he shoots out of a cannon like like nothing, and he gets this offense propelling and going. Your thoughts on what could possibly what do you come to expect from Linger in his first game, depending on obviously how much minutes he gets from Ben Olsen and the coaching staff.
Where are we going to use him first off? Is he going to be our left wing? Is he going to be actually playing the cam? Is he going to be playing the ram? We expect McGlynn to be playing the ram. So can Seba or Bassi going to play that left wing and Linger play in the middle right there? Or is Linger going to have to play the left and, try to stretch the field, which I'd rather just Seba do that. And then Bassi's the one that has to go to the bench, unfortunately. Not unfortunately. Some people will say unfortunately. But we know Seba and Bassi are on their way to the bench if these incoming players are going to be what we are hoping they're going to be. They've got to, somebody's got to hit the bench or somebody's got to become a rotated player. So I think it's Bassi's going to take the first fall. Linger's going to be middle, and you got to stick with Seba on the left side out there just because of the familiarity of that position over Bassi playing it. Because, you're using McGlynn. You've used Reigns and Urso the past two games, starting with Arthur, and it's worked, and you like that. So just been continue that as well. You're playing at home. Colorado's not a very good team on the road. They do concede. Stefan is giving up an average of 4 saves a game, which is pretty high in the MLS right now. So, yeah, I see him playing in the middle. Seba, McGlynn playing right there, Ponce on top, and then of course we're whoever Urso. If Urso's ready, I prefer Reigns. We'll go Reigns and Arthur, and use Linger right there in the middle. Is he going to be able to be creative? I hope so. I think he's going to fit in. He's been here long enough, anyways. Supposedly, we know he's been here long enough, so he's been practicing with the team behind the scenes. So he should be familiar. He should he get out there and it is a game that's going to be a little different. But you are working with these guys. I've been playing with them for it seems like 4 weeks now. I think it has been 4 weeks. So get out there and play. I think he should fit in and shouldn't take him long to break the ice. He's playing soccer. It's just a different pitch, different temperature. And a little bit of a different pace probably, or something will be different from MLS from where he came from. But I'm for it. I'm excited to see what he can do, and I'm not expecting a slow start. I'm expecting just an average. Let's go like a 6-8 foot mob rating.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think he played. I think they start playing the midfield like the same way like they did when they had Coco and Ache Ache. I mean, I think McGlynn and Linger will be two eights up going up front, but I think that Linger will take over as far as pushing the ball forward as far as being the attacking player to create, and McGlynn will go back to having a more of a balanced role as far as being part of the offense and the defense, and all that good stuff. Um, but like I said, look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to him starting. I'm looking forward to seeing his flow and see what kind of skill set he has on the pitch. Like I said, I'm not too familiar. I have no familiarity of him prior to knowing of him getting signed with the Dynamo. So I'm obviously intrigued to see what Pat and Asher saw in him to bring him over to the club. Obviously, I know that he's had stints with Faranoid and Holland and all that good stuff, and Denmark, obviously, and he's done fairly well, I guess, given the statistics that I've seen. But I mean, obviously we need to see how that translates to MLS, and hopefully it translates to something very positive for us because we need creativity on this team. We need chemistry and cohesiveness on this team, which we currently lack. So,
Yeah,
anything else
for
you want
real.
to add? Oh, you know what? What's projection for the game? OSG.
Uh, I'm gonna go 2-0 on this one, man. 2-0 on the prediction. We're not gonna give up a goal this time. That we're gonna be mentally prepared. We're gonna come out. We'll be
Nice.
focused, and we are gonna get the 2 goals. Where they're going to come from, I don't know. That's the best guess. Ponce is going to find a way to get one, and somehow maybe Linger can get an assist out of one
Good.
of
There you
both
go.
those goals, or maybe Glenn gets an assist. Where the second one comes might come from a defensive overlap or something, or a header off a corner kick. I don't know. 2-0, 2-0, two
That
nothing.
piece. There you go. I
Yeah,
like that.
probably. Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 2-1 Dynamo. I think that like I said, the def. I like. I'm not that far away from saying 2-0. I think like I said, like I mentioned, the defense is getting a lot better, and they're getting their shit together. I guess for lack of a better term, and obviously with the return of Eric and all that good stuff, it's balanced out the defense, and you've seen it the last couple of games, and then obviously Blake. Um, Having gaining experience every match that he gets on there, you see that he's improving and he's having more confidence and is able to communicate with the defense a lot better than what he was when he first started. So I'm happy to see him improving, and obviously, like I said, the defense finally getting it together. I think I'm gonna go 2-1 though, and I wanna say, hmm. a Ponce going. Why not? Why can't we get Linger a home debut goal for the fans, right? Why not? Let's start off with a bang for Linger's career. So I'm gonna say 2-1. OSG says 2-0. I guess we'll see next week when we come back on to see who was right. Maybe we were both wrong. Who knows? We'll see what's up. But guys,
No.
um, OSG,
Yo.
look, this caught me off surprise. Another rumored signing coming our way. This time from Scotland, I believe. If I'm not mistaken,
Yes.
from Saint Marines and the Scottish League. A player by the name of Toyosi Olusanya. And as you can see, there's a couple clips in here scoring goals. I'm sure pretty some of you guys have seen this clip on our X page already. But for those who haven't, these are a couple of goals that he scored during his last couple of matches with Saint Marine in the Scottish League.
Yeah, they were the last one was the most
Beautiful goal.
in order. They're the most recent, going back. So back to January, over 9 games that he's played. So that first one was a deflection, so got lucky, whatever, but good position. And then the next ones, he's just using his pace to put himself in good situations. So kind of like what I'm seeing with it.
I like the build. I like the build of the player.
Yep, yep.
Now the great thing
So
about
see,
Toyosi is that he plays all three positions in front. He's
Yes.
primarily a center forward, but he plays both wing spots. So he's capable of playing alongside Ponce or being Ponce's backup, depending on what happens and what players come in and who's available and all that good stuff. So I think the fact that he has a lot of multiple dimensions is one of the things that attracted Pat and Asher to him to bring him over. Obviously, I think Ben, Asher, and Pat are always looking for those players who can play multiple roles and can play multiple positions. That way, we have different. We can look at the formation in different ways and put players in different spots and not mess up the chemistry too much, I guess, and that's in that standpoint. But look, from the few highlights that I've seen, I like his tenacity. I think his build is a really nice build. He obviously has strength and speed as well. And just from the couple of goals that we saw here on the clip that OSG just posted, I think he looks really good, really good. Um, some people are a little bit confused because he is out of contract here pretty soon in a couple of months. But the Dynamo jumped in and said, you know what, we're going to throw a little cash your way, San Marine, so that way we can just get him and we don't have to worry about bidding against other players, other teams, because there was obviously interest in him from the championship sides in England and other clubs in the Scottish League as well. So they just jumped that hurdle and just gave a little bit of a fee to Saint Marine to just take the player off and bring him in as soon as possible. OSG, what are your thoughts, man? Look, the transfer window is closing on the 23rd, a couple of days. To be honest, this move caught me, or this rumor, because I don't think it's been confirmed. I think I know it's been talked about from Tom and stuff like that, but we haven't heard anything as far as it being uh, done yet. Are you surprised by another signing?
No, no, not at all. Because I'm following Pat and Asher, and they've been pretty transparent about what they're doing, and then talking about it with Glenn Davis as well, about what they're doing. And as far as another winger, striker, whatever position, it is, and it is kind of surprised, because you do have the $8 million Ponce coming in. So how are we going to use him? How are we going to utilize him? Is he going to be coming in to give Ponce a break, to where Ponce pays 75, this guy comes off the bench or whatever, or this guy starts and then Ponce comes in late? How are we going to use this guy? But I like what he can do and stretch the field, and so it's going to be exciting. But like you said, Bogart did report it, so that it means it's finalized, but we don't know any details. We don't know if there is even a transfer fee involved if there is a transfer, or just he's coming. I'm not sure. We haven't got any details. It six-figure contract, so salary. So
Fee.
we may be paid. Yeah, I think it said salary, but whatever. It's shit. So we'll have to go back and look at that. But so whatever, I'm for it. If he's looks like he's obviously an attacking player. Can he be somebody that's utilized correctly? I don't know, because you don't know what Ben's going to do with him. You don't know how Ben's going to use him, because Ben plays players out of position a lot of the time, and obviously little Daryl's fallen out of Ben's pocket, so this guy's going to swoop right in and pick it up. When's he coming? So we don't know. He's going to be added to that bus of people that are getting dropped off. Right now, they're just doing circles around Shell Energy Stadium, and Lingr got dropped off this week, so the rest are still going round and round on the bus. But we'll just throw this guy on. We'll airdrop him on here in a minute, and add him to the bus once it's official. Maybe we'll learn a little bit more about him, but I'm excited if it comes true, and doesn't fall through. But you asked me if I was surprised. So more surprised about the striker position, I guess, than the addition, because they said we're still looking for two more, or more to come. So there could be another player where they're talking about. They said a center back too, besides Ortiz. So which is crazy. And you've got Ondrej at Dos sitting there wanting to come up and play. So it's crazy when they say, "Hey, we're looking for another center back. We'll get us a left back and a right back to help Dorsey and Escobar and Stairs out." So yeah, you're surprised that yes, you're looking at more players than what you're doing, but man, they're building a team. There's a lot of players that are on options at the end of this season, so there's a lot of players you can release to at the same time. So, Pat and Asher have a plan. I believe in the plan. I'm still on the Pat side. I'm kind of questioning Ben and his tactics a little bit more right now at the current time. But I'm also being very patient with the busload of 6 players that are getting ready to be dropped off, and it could be added to a 7th player here pretty soon, and a possibility of those 6 players actually, starting for us, which is even crazier.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's crazy to think, how many players are on the cusp of joining us and making their debuts as Dynamo players, especially because, we have uh, other competitions about to start here pretty soon. Which
Mm-hmm.
we'll get into here in a bit with, obviously knowing that we had the U.S. Open Cup draw this morning. We're gonna have Leagues Cup coming up pretty soon here in the summer. So I mean, even though people were like, man, well, what's going to happen here? I mean, look, we're going to be in 3 different competitions, and we need as many players as possible to be able to play those competitions and give us the best and freshest legs possible to compete in all 3. Because, in all honesty, I mean, look, I don't know what's going to happen for this season, MLS regular season. I mean, it's a long season, and obviously, a lot of clubs go through ups and downs, and hopefully, we can take advantage of other clubs' downs and bust our way through and put ourselves back in position to make the playoffs. But if not, and the MLS league season is a disaster, I mean, look, we have 2 cup competitions to look forward to, and where we can make noise. I mean, tournament soccer is a lot different than season soccer. The tournament soccer is just, hey, one game you're in, one game you're out. And depending on how well you're playing at that time period, whenever those cup competition games come apart, you might be on fire, and it just might be advancing. Hey, it's about advancing and surviving, and that's all it's about. Now, as far as regular season soccer, I mean, that's obviously a marathon, and the marathon gets shorter and shorter after every week that goes by. And like I said, where I'm happy to finally hear that we're gonna see one of the signings available for selection this weekend in Linger. Obviously, we still have Ortiz to worry about. We still have Holmes. We still obviously, if the Toyosi signing becomes official, that as well. And then obviously the people who are coming off of injury, as far as Inali and Quiones and things of that nature, obviously that are coming back from serious injuries that they had from last season. How much are they going to be able to contribute to the team as well? And obviously players who currently are on the squad who want to fight to remain on the squad as far as starters or be important pieces to the club, and those guys are going to feel the pressure of trying to keep their spot or make sure that the coach doesn't forget about them once these new players come in, because it's all about playing your best 11 and having the hottest people out there as far as who can create and score for the club, and if these guys come in and they're guns blazing, it could be a wrap for players like a Bassi or a Ladero, Uso or Sebas and stuff, and players like that. Not to say that that they're going anywhere, but I mean, but it could be harsh times for those type of players. Um, but with that being said, I mean, obviously, I just mentioned there earlier, we had a U.S. Open Cup this season. Last year didn't go our way. um, we obviously 2 years ago
Incredible game.
we lifted our second over U.S. Open Cup. Last year it was a fun game, didn't go our way.
No.
Unfortunately, we lost to a USL team in Detroit that actually caused some noise in the tournament last season. So it wasn't just we lost to anybody. We lost to somebody who actually made it to the semifinal round and caused a lot of noise and represented hard for the USL League in Detroit City Football Club. And but this year we will start off against another USL club, somebody that we're kind of familiar with preseason games and things like that nature. And then obviously one of their ex head coaches is currently on our staff. We will be facing the Phoenix Rising. A lot of people know that club and know that name. USL uh, champions a couple of seasons back. I think that they had club legends like Didier Drogba play for them. We obviously we used to go to preseasons with them and play in Phoenix and Arizona with them prior. But so a club that obviously by name we know we have a lot of ties to. But just your thoughts, OSG, on this new year U.S. Open Cup. A competition where it gives us the opportunity to lift a trophy that we're familiar with, as we lifted twice, and now with an even higher prize, cash prize at the end for the winning side that lifts it this year. Your thoughts on the U.S. Open Cup, and then obviously being put in the group with El Paso and Austin FC as well, alongside with Phoenix Rising. Your thoughts?
I'm looking forward to that game against Austin if they can get past El Paso. But we got to get past Phoenix as well at the same time. Phoenix Rising is no joke, like you said. 2023, when they won the championship, was only 2 years ago, 2 seasons ago. And, they started off very slow this season, 1, 2, and 3. They're, scored 11 goals, giving up 14 goals. So it looks like, and that's only in 6 games. Where they've got that many goals already. So they're losing like 2 to 3 games, 2.2 to 3.4 average, something like that. So they're going to score goals, it looks like. They're going to give up goals, it looks like. So it depends on what Houston can do. Like you mentioned, we have Juan Pereira, the coach who coached them, in our hands now. So we would be familiar with them per se, depending on how much their new coach changed up the tactics and all that good stuff. But it will be in Phoenix. It'll be a road game, and they're going to probably be sold out 100%. So it'll be a little different environment. The fans are closer, can make more noise. And we sometimes we play down to our competition. I remember Tampa Bay Rowdies beat them 1-0, and it took us forever to score that one goal a couple of years ago in Tampa. That was the Open Cup year too, as a matter of fact. So which is crazy. So Phoenix ain't no joke, but they're sitting in 10th in USL right now, not playing too well. They just came off a penalty kick shootout where they scored their tying goal late in the second half to even force it into penalty kicks, and then they won on penalty kicks. So I'm confident, man. I'm confident. And then, like you mentioned earlier, these players that are coming in are building. Ben's got options where, Ben's going to play his best 11, and then he's going to have a best 11B that he can use to play the Open Cup and can play the Leagues Cup, since there's no break this year for either one of those cups. They're going to be played in between, and you just got to fight it out with your opponents. So looking forward to it. I hope we win. I do hope Austin wins so that we can play them. And maybe that's me being biased because the game would be in Austin and I would not have to go far on a weeknight either. That's the bonus.
Nah, for sure, for sure. We have to find out. We would have to find out how to make a trip up there to go see it. Um, yeah, look, I mean, obviously, the match is set for May 7th. Uh, the first match,
9 o'clock.
Like OSG mentioned, will be in Phoenix. Will be in Phoenix. So obviously, I think U.S. Open Cup is looking more towards having the smaller clubs host, to give them a better opportunity, I guess, at revenue and things like that. And then obviously with the MLS clubs coming into the round of 32, it obviously starts to pick up as far as level of competition goes. And obviously, on the other side of the bracket, we have Austin FC versus El Paso Locomotive, which they will be playing in no, in Austin. I'm sorry, in Austin, and then the winner of that, depending on who wins. If El Paso wins, we will be hosting. If Austin FC wins, Austin FC will be hosting the round of 16. But I mean, like I said, look, I know a lot of people, follow multiple leagues, and obviously cups like the FA Cup, La Copa del Rey, Copa Italia, those are very important competitions in those respective countries, in those respective leagues. And I wholeheartedly always want the Dynamo to go hard for these cups, because like I said, look, those trophies look really nice in the showcase room, and on top of that, it also gets you a direct ticket to Champions League, to Champions Cup, a competition that I feel the
Yeah.
Dynamo should be involved with, and on an annual basis, because we have the market for it. and the Dynamo need to be exposed on the international market as well, not just in the local or the Mexico USA competition market, whatever. It needs to be exposed more often to the global market, and that competition obviously gives us that opportunity. So with that being said, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Obviously, look, I mean, it's a lot of soccer going on. As far as like with not just MLS, the ending of the European leagues, the ending of the Champions League, and all the European competitions coming to an end, and obviously the beginning of the competitions here in the USA, as far as with the CONCACAF Champions Cup coming to an end, the U.S. Open Cup opening up, then obviously Leagues Cup later on in the summer, the Club World Cup and all that good stuff coming up as well. I mean, so it's a lot of stuff going on, and like I said, the more the Dynamo can be involved, the better it is for us. As far as obviously for more material for podcasts, people like us and others that provide a lot of content and stuff like that for the Dynamo. But not just that. Well, I love to have the Dynamo on my screen or be at the stadium as many times as possible. You know. Um, OSG, anything you want to add to before we move on?
Nah, man, I'm just looking forward to all these players coming in recently. Just to give a little update to the fans, there's the timetable is not being updated. We are live Thursday night. There is a press conference tomorrow morning, 11:30, with Ben to preview the Colorado game. The question gets asked every time, but at the same time, we can see during warm-ups who's there and who's available and who's showing up and all that good stuff. So we can put two and two together. Ben gets mad sometimes when we do that, but that's your fault. You're out there training for the first 15 minutes where media is allowed to be there. So don't complain. We're like, hey, this guy's missing. Is he available? Of course he's available. He's just gone. I guess it cat's out the bag. But so we do get snippets when you see players that are there and they're getting ready. Like you're seeing in Ollie, you're seeing Quinones and in the warm-ups, and it looks like you see pictures where the muscles are flexed and they're stretching and they're running, so they're looking pretty good. But Holmes should be a couple more weeks, and then he'll be fit and ready to not fit. He'll be released and ready to come back in. It sounded like Quinones is going to beat Anali to the finish line on coming back first. So Anali's going to go do his entire 9-month therapy and rehab. It looks like is what they're going to try to force and just not take a risk with him, which is I'm fine with. We kind of need him back sooner than later, but so within the next 2 to 6 weeks, you should see all 6 of these players off the bus, minus Toyosi. Toyosi, we don't know anything about when he's going to be coming in, if it's going to be now this window, or if it's going to be waiting until the summer window. So 5 players falling off the bus within 2 to 5 to 6 weeks, pretty quickly coming off right here, where they're going to get integrated. And just kiss Ben's ass, y'all, so y'all can see the pitch, please.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, quick question.
Yeah.
Earth Day is coming. What do you think about the Earth Day kick?
We got the wrong color. We should have got the golden one, but for what they're for, yes, it's fine. I can't complain about the colors for what they're for. There'll be pregame kits. I didn't see what game they're for, so we better not be wearing them for pregame against Austin. That would suck. Then please give us the other colors, but I would have preferred the golden one. So if the Dynamo patch was on the golden one, I would have got one of those. But I'm not a fan of the Cinnamintio, and I say Cinnamintio because that's what they call their green jerseys here in this little town right here. So
pistachio,
or what? Yeah, we'll call it pistachio.
Pistachio.
Yeah, I don't like that color anyway. So
yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it either, to be honest. But I can do with or without. But I guess shout out to the MLS and the Earth Day incentive that they always try to put out and all that good stuff. Well, with that being said, guys, look, I know last week I threw out there that obviously we're this close to 300 subscribers on the YouTube. OSG, I don't know if you have an updated number on that YouTube subscriber. Do you happen to have it by any chance?
And let me look. We're 274 right now. 274. So
Sweet,
26 to go.
274. So we're 20. So we're 26 people or subscribers to go, guys, before the Austin FC game on 426. Ironically, I threw out a challenge to you guys to help us get. I threw out a challenge to you guys to help us get to 300 by then, guys. Obviously, like I said, um, if we make it to 300 by Austin FC on 426, me, myself, Eric, OSG, Andres, everybody else from Foxtrot and Noodle Time will be out there. We will be giving out free swag. We might ask you to answer a question, a trivia question or two to get it. But it's all fun and games. We'll record it. Make a great time about it, guys. We have caps, scarves, autographs, cards, and all that good stuff, guys, to hand out. So please, guys, like I said, we appreciate all the support and everything that you've given to us. So we're only 26 subscribers away. So if guys, if people who love the Dynamo, who heart the Dynamo and they need Dynamo content, or just hey, you know what, you have a couple of brothers and sisters who might not be into MLS, but just hey, man, just have them, get us there to help you get some free swag from the Dynamo. Whatever you can do to help us to get 300, guys. Like I said, much appreciated, and hopefully we can get it done by or before 26th of April, so that way while we're out there tailgating with the Surge, we're able to hand out these free Dynamo swag as far as caps, scarves, jerseys, cards, autographs, and all that good stuff. OSG, please tell the people where can they find us, where they can reach us, and all that good stuff.
Hey, Mark, real quick though, before we take us out, you do ask a question every week, and I still think it's a fair question, and we got to answer it until you change the question.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then it's a different question.
Yes.
I'm
sorry.
So where are we at?
I got a little too excited about the us getting close to 300 subscribers on the YouTube. So, all right. So I'll ask OSG. Obviously, it's the question I'm asking on a weekly basis until we see the Dynamo climb out from the cellar of the Western Conference and of MLS. Do you think that the Houston Dynamo are the worst MLS team currently?
Absolutely not. So last week it was even easier, but absolutely not. Even coming off that performance against LA, we still only have one friggin' win. Sporting got their win finally, so they're looking better on their side of the friggin' boat. But it's
Montreal, Toronto, and LA are the last three.
Yeah, that's right. Montreal played their first home game and still didn't win. So no, obviously not. We're not the worst team, but it is still a fair question to ask. If this team cannot produce goals, even in a 3v3 situation, come on, man, they're not the worst, but it's still a fair question, and they're making it to an actual good debatable question to have every week because it's funny. Our offense is laughable.
Yeah, as far as my answer for that question goes, I currently no, I don't think so. I think Montreal. I have no idea what's going on up there either with Montreal, and then Toronto. The thing about Toronto that makes it just sad is the fact that Toronto is actually a club that actually spends money. They have a large investment in the Italian players up there, and obviously the players surrounding around them. So that club has the ownership that's willing to spend money to bring in the big name players and to bring in high quality players to surround them around them with. But I just don't know what's going on, man. It's something about Canada, but then you see Vancouver, number one in the East, and semifinals in the CONCACAF Champions going up against Miami coming up. So who knows? Not looking good for the American side of Canada, and the French side of Canada is looking very well. So I don't know. I don't know, man. To be honest, but yeah, it's they're not the worst team, but the Dynamo are right there too because I mean, obviously, Sporting Kansas City getting a little bit of a boost with the Vermees firing and getting under a new direction. LA Galaxy. I mean, look, they tied us with 10 man. So I mean, it's a sad thing to see, and and they're only going to get healthier. We're not going to. I mean, LA Galaxy is not going to stay at the bottom of the Western Conference like that, just all willy nilly. They're gonna do what they need to do to get back out of there. I mean, it's just a matter of when and how they're gonna do it. So I mean, hopefully by the time they figure it out, we're already somewhere mid table or whatever. Who knows? But currently, do I think they're the worst? No, and that's thanks to Canada. So thank you, Canada. But with
Finally,
that being
Canada
said,
hates us more.
OSG, let the people know, let the people know where they can find us and how they can get in contact with us and all that good stuff.
Hey, look, thank y'all for watching, first off, on Foxtrot TV, right? Foxtrot TV right here live on YouTube every Thursday night with your host, Mark. And he's going to have a different guest on from the Foxtrot crew, whether it be Andres, the dynamic Foxtrot, whether it be the little Fox, Juan Pereira, or me jumping in, or we might start involving some guests here and jumping in them and getting them included. Maybe
The
Herman will hop back in.
the old silver fox.
Oh, there we go. I guess so, right? But hey, so first off, it's Foxtrot TV, but you got at Dynamic Foxtrot on X and on Twitter. You have at Dynamic Foxtrot on IG. And then, of course, we have all our personals. You have our Noodle Tempio on X as well. That kind of does it's more of just giving everything. And Dynamic Foxtrot is a personal account. You also have Mark and his personal account. I'll let him tell it to you here in a second. But follow us. We got a couple videos on TikTok. We post some more on IG. We post some on Twitter. So give us a follow. As Mark will say, subscribe. 26 more to go. You can rate it if you have time. Please rate it. And then we always encourage y'all to comment and let us know what we're doing, how we're doing. And if there's something else you would like to see on the show as he shows off the swag, look forward to it. 26 to go. 26. So tell your friends, hey, we're showing it off right now. As you people listening on audio, Foxtrot TV, you could watch us sometimes, or even on Spotify. I think you can watch us too as well. But get us to 300 so we can get a bunch of swag out there and let everybody get their opportunity to see that, and then come to a game, meet us, come to a tailgate. Mark, as I ask you what your personal accounts are, don't we have a tailgate coming up in a couple weeks that people should just come by and see us at too as well?
Yeah, for sure, guys. We have obviously we'll be home this weekend against Colorado, and then in 2 weeks against Austin FC. We'll be having a tailgate either at Lot C or Dynamo headquarters yet to be determined.
It'll be
All that good
it's going
stuff.
to
So
be a good one.
we'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with all that, guys. But again, we appreciate all the love and support. Obviously, guys, you can follow me on X at Che Segovia, Segovia, my last name. For those who want to get a hold of me and talk some soccer or just bullshit around, it doesn't matter, whatever the case may be. OSG, obviously, and the whole Noodle Time staff, Andres, Juan, everybody, guys. We all appreciate the love and support. And like I said, shout out to everybody. Shout out to the Dash, and shout out to who am I shouting out to, Mr. OSG? You already
Yeah. So on our other show on the Dash Dispatch that I get to host, talking about our favorite team in Houston, the Houston Dash, and Mark's favorite player, Kiki Van Zetten, gets a shout out for Jamaica, for Houston Dash.
shout out.
Say hello to Mark right here. He's saying hi. Don't worry, Kiki. Mark's cool. We vouch for him. So don't run when we're in the tunnel trying to get an interview from you. But hey, we hope to see you on the pitch soon, Kiki.
For sure, guys. Well, guys, like I said, next Thursday we'll be here. This Saturday, hopefully, we're picking up another win at home. So, guys, like always, H is up to hold it down for H Town.
Stay noodle.
Let's go, Dynamo. Stay noodle.